First time doing this shit in quite a while, eh? So I'll pop up this stream over here on the other side of the monitors, make sure everything's all good. Heck, when was the last time I even did a stream in the first place? Shit! It's been 8 months. God dang! So before I start talking about Money in the Bank, I'll wait for people to start tuning in. And we'll discuss how today's show has gone overall. I cannot believe this actually happened of a show. And all these messages or comments will actually show up. There we go. Yo, Charles, Fernando. I swear, I cannot believe I finally had an actual reason to actually stream for the first time in 8 months because of what just happened with the whole show of Money in the Bank. I mean, I believe, if memory serves me right, according to their record books, this is the first time WWE has done a pay-per-view over in the UK area since Insurrection 2003. The first time in little over 20 years that we've seen this happen. Long time no stream. I know, dude. I know. Like I said, first time in 8 months doing this. Yo, Hill Gill, welcome. So this was quite a wild show to go through. And before I continue, if you guys hear any background noise, I apologize. I got a fan going on here because pretty hot around here. So kind of needed them in the background to keep cool. But anyway, let's talk about what happened today with Money in the Bank now that the show has officially gone off the air, because so many big moments have gone on just within the 7-card matchup that we had here. In fact, I'm wondering if I can, let me see if I can add any images in here, because I at least have the match graphics and all that. Let's see. Add an item. Media slot. Because then I can actually try to bring the match graphics in here. Or maybe I can't figure this out so quite well, do I? Yo, what up, Cody? Well, people are pissed about Money in the Bank. Yeah, I'll talk about that in just a second if I can figure out how to include media in this thing. I can actually... Because I want to be able to include the match graphics, because I got everything here in my folder, and yet I can't figure this shit out. All right, trying to screen share. Not really screen share, I'm just trying to add an image. Because, like, I got all the match graphics and everything for the show, because I want to show them on screen, because I've got everything on my computer, but I can't figure this out. I mean, of course, this figures after 8 months, I don't know really what's going on with all this. Yo, what up, Nick? Been a while, dude. Let me try. See if I can get this whole thing figured out. Golly, I cannot figure. If anybody knows how to put an image on here, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to go on without trying to put the match graphics on here, because I'm just spending a lot of time figuring this whole thing out. This is what happens when I'm not a StreamYard pro. But anyway, so right away, we had the Money in the Bank ladder match for the men's side. Damian Priest, Butch, a.k.a. Pete Dunne, L.A. Knight, yeah, Logan Paul, Ricochet, Santos Escobar, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Winner gets that contract, and now they've added the new created rules saying that you can cash this Money in the Bank contract on any championships. So it's not just world championships that people can cash in on from now on. Thanks, Austin Theory inspired quite a weird kind of rule there, because if you're unless you're Money in the Bank and you go for any championship, why would you want to go for anything other than a world championship? You know, I mean, that's quite the question there. Who's going to want to be U.S. champion all of a sudden? Oh, I beat Austin Theory. Great. Nobody cares. You're U.S. champion, whatever. I mean, everybody was sure that L.A. Knight, was going to win this match. And I was certain of it, too, because it looked promising. Then all of a sudden, Damian Priest wins. I think it was questionable until you saw what happened later on. I mean, a great Money in the Bank ladder match. I know they had a little bit of a botch there with Ricochet and Logan Paul trying to go through the tables because they had the landing off a little bit. And Logan Paul actually got pretty bloodied up around his shoulder area. I guess he must have hit the metal siding of the table. But it's just like, good God, that was a bloody moment. And Damian Priest winning, like I said, it felt out of nowhere. Who knows if he's even going to successfully cash in ever? I mean, we don't know what's going on just yet. Let's see. Think they're getting ready to split up Judgment Day? Yeah, I'll talk about that in just a bit when we get to the world title match. Rest in peace, Draws. I know, I saw the news yesterday. I don't think a cause of death has even been released from what I've seen. I've looked all over the place, and it's a massive shame. The guy got dealt a rough hand. He wasn't even in the business for 2 years, and all of a sudden the accident happened, and now he's suddenly gone. Rest in peace, Draws. Seriously. I forgot all about Austin Theory. It's easy to forget about him because he wasn't even on the show today. But anyway, Damian Priest winning, who knows what they're going to do with it. If he's going to cash in, great. If he's going to eventually lose it, it's what happens. Let's see. Her natural causes. Well, I mean, natural causes, if it's anything, it might have something to do, maybe have some kind of complication with his paralysis. Because, I know some people who go through some sort of paralysis type of situation, usually, it can lead to some kind of complication. So maybe it's that, but I'm not sure. 54, I think it was. Yeah, he was only 54. That's still relatively young, especially for somebody in the business. He only draws close to cost of death on social media. I haven't seen that, so that's why I'm completely unsure of what's going on there. Now we get to the second match. Now we can move on just a bit. I got to question this. Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, who not too long ago unified the WWE Women's and NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, defending the championships against the former champions who were never lost championships in the first place and now reuniting, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So this, very questionable. Yeah, they had a surprise moment there, because Ronda tagged herself in, and then Shayna just out of nowhere blindsides her tag partner and just chokes her out, and that led to Liv and Raquel capitalizing to regain the Women's Tag Team Championships. First of all, what was the point of unifying the tag titles on a tag team that was just going to break up shortly thereafter? Number 2, why have the titles flip-flop yet again? And number 3, can y'all just finally retire? Please retire the Women's Tag Team division. I said this, a year or two ago when I made the episode of the podcast saying that the tag division is shit? Please retire it. Because every time they have a tag team, it's either thrown together or they form a legitimate tag team and then they randomly break them up, so you really have no tag division to go upon. How many tag teams do they really have right now within the women's tag division on WWE television right now? You got Liv and Raquel. I think you got Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. And then whatever the tag team is of, that was just the NXT Women's Tag Champions. I can't remember what their team name is, but you got 3 tag teams. That's it. You can't have a tag division if you only have 3 teams to work with. I mean, I know the tag division for the men's side was awful back in, the New Generation era, in the mid-90s. But at least you had more teams to work with compared to what the women's tag division has now. All you have now is those 3 teams that I mentioned, because now all of a sudden, I know people hate Ronda Rousey, and I understand she's bland and everything. She feels unmotivated. But Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler was probably the most legit women's tag team that you had. You actually had a chance. They kept building up this tension as are they going to team or not? Are they friends or not? Then you finally get them together, and now out of nowhere, you break them up. Like, you have a dead division here. Keep tag teams, please. Every time you have tag teams, you split them up again. Like, before the draft, you had, like, Natalya and Shotzi Blackheart. Then all of a sudden the draft happens. Natalya's going to Raw. Shotzi's on SmackDown. So, therefore, another team breaks up. Look back at WrestleMania 37. Within a few months of that tag turmoil match or gauntlet or whatever happened, every team was broken up within a matter of months. Because of either people being broken up on different brands or released or whatever the fuck. So it's like, this division's dead. Focus more on having single, like, challengers for fucking Mommy, a.k.a. Rhea Ripley, for her Raw World Women's Championship or whatever title they're giving the name it is now. Focus more on her having challengers and less on this dead division that they have no solid direction on. If you can ditch the 24/7 championship, you can ditch these dead women's tag team championships too. Because these tag team titles mean jack shit. Honestly. Like, oh my God. There's nothing for this tag division to do. You just throw teams together and they have no legitimacy. Like I said, you barely had any formidable tag teams in history. Like, Nia Jax and Tamina worked. Beth Phoenix and Natalya worked because they used to be a team before this tag division became a thing. Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey made sense. Stuff within Damage Control, that worked. You could have had Trish and Lita together rather than Lita and Beth Phoenix and Becky Lynch. And Lita hasn't been seen ever since the tag titles were dropped. So it's just like, you can't establish a tag division if it's just thrown together shit. Like, yeah, my brain is melting. Holy fuck. Before I go to the next match, let's look more at the chat there. Yo, what up, Jack? Here's the championships. I know, like I said, this tag division is worse than 24/7 championship division. Division has been shit since day one. The last formidable team you had really before all this, like most recent team being champions to really mean anything, was the Boston Hug Connection, whether it be their first time being champions or second time when they were holding all the gold. That was one of the only other formidable tag teams that you had. You also had the Iconics, then they randomly broke up and all that shit. So it's like WWE has no plans with this division, so why should people care? Like I said, focus more on having women to challenge for the singles championships within your divisions on both brands, and less on this shitty tag division that is dead in the water. Let's see. Turn Rousey face. They should have turned Shayna face, because nobody is going to get behind Ronda if you listen to the reaction she's been getting. People are tired of her. Let's see. Women's wrestling matches are basically piss break time. Well, depending on the match. Like, it seems like the only time people really care is if it's a singles match, because when it's tag stuff or non-title, people don't care. Like, at least there's more focus now than when there was when the Divas Championship existed. Because at that point, there was no effort put into it. It's like, someone's number one contender, they get the pin on whoever the champion was, the Raw or SmackDown before the pay-per-view, then you have the useless throwaway pay-per-view match. At least now you have, like, storylines, but like I said, who does Rhea Ripley have to challenge her right now? She didn't even have a match on this show. She was in Dominic's corner. So it's just like, this is what happens when you focus on a dead division and less on your singles championships. Liv and Raquel make no sense. Exactly. The only thing I remember them doing the last time they were tag champions was just the whole thing about, ooh, I'm thirsty. Oh, I'm thirsty too. Oh, we can drink water. Because then you had that, it was that pointless stuff with Chelsea and Sonya Deville. So again, it was just like more pointless shit. Like, holy fuck. Yo, Spectral. Yo, WWE is lousy booking logic. I've talked about that in different topics already on the podcast too. Especially when it becomes to making number one contenders and all that shit. Let's see. So much for Women's Revolution. What revolution? Look at how it began. It was three teams going against each other. PCB, the Bella Trio, well, Bella's in, Alicia Fox, and then Team Bad. And then you look at, like, those women now. The Bella Twins are retired. Alicia Fox is pretty much retired. Paige is now Saraya over in AEW. Becky had a resurgence when she turned heel in 2018. Charlotte's shoved down her throat. Sasha is now over in New Japan. Trinity, a.k.a. Naomi, is over in Impact Wrestling. And Tamina just comes and goes. So look how far this quote-unquote division or revolution has gone in the last 8 years. Like, holy fuck. It's nuts. Yo, DJ Pooh, been a while, dude. It's the same with the women's title. But at least with the singles championships, they at least mean something more because people are solidly behind Rhea, and she was booked strong since the Royal Rumble. But then you look at Asuka. I don't know if she's like a babyface or a heel or a tweener or whatever the fuck. And then all of a sudden, you come, like, Asuka gets this new championship, which is just Roman's title with the new name put on there. And then here comes Charlotte. Woo! I want a title shot. Woo! Like, bitch, what have you done to earn it? You haven't been on TV in months. Then you just waltz right in and you say, I don't wait in line. Like, who gets behind a person that says they don't wait in line? If you're waiting in line for a movie like, let's say a new Spider-Man movie and somebody just cuts in front saying, I don't wait in line. Are you going to support that person? No. If you had to wait for your turn to get to the front of the line, everybody else should have to. No cutting. But yet this woman is supposed to somehow be a babyface by just waltzing in, being like, woo, give me a title shot. Woo! It's that image I posted on Instagram not so long ago. And Jack is saying that, and I'll highlight his comment here, because I posted this on Instagram. Me want title match. Take that photo from when Jericho did that in 2007, replace the image of Jericho with Charlotte, and then all the women's tag title or women's championships in the corner where the championship is. She just comes in, I want a title match, doesn't do anything on TV recently to even become number one contender. It's just like, it's absolutely ridiculous because, like, it's nuts. You look at all these women. Yeah, some women are not as good as others. I can admit that. You look at the women, their degree of how good they are varies depending on what we see on TV. But you have women who don't get title shots because they're not being given opportunities or being built up. Yeah, you look at Charlotte, and she's barely, like, I did this episode 2 years ago, early on in the podcast, saying Charlotte has too much focus on her, and she's barely done anything that doesn't involve a championship. I released that 2 years ago. Since then, she hasn't had any non-title feuds since that episode dropped. Ever since that feud dropped with Lacey Evans, and then I released the episode saying that she's barely done anything outside of championship feuds, she's had no non-title feuds. Last year, she came back at the end of the year, and yeah, she dethroned Ronda. Everybody's glad, but she came back after being gone for most of the year because she got married, comes back, I want a title shot. Woo! And she's just giving it. And then she's gone after WrestleMania, and she comes back because all of a sudden she's back on TV, and her only purpose is because now there's an opportunity for her to go after a championship again because that's her only role, comes in, TV. Woo! And she gets a shot without doing anything to earn it. You lost your championship at WrestleMania, Charlotte. Back of the line. Okay? Get on television, build yourself up, and become a rightful number one contender instead of just waltzing in, getting your way. Okay, I'm not denying Charlotte being talented. She's one of the best overall women that they've had in WWE history. I can acknowledge that. She's the daughter of Ric Flair. She's got it in her blood. But there's no excuse just saying title shot, title shot, title shot, title shot, title shot. No more. Earn it. Get on TV, get some wins, win a number one contenders match, whether it be like a tournament, a gauntlet, a battle royal, something. Don't just waltz in and get a title match after you're gone for months on end when there are other people who earn the shots, like Bianca Belair. She's more deserving of being number one contender than Charlotte because you look at how Bianca lost the title. She has a right to get a rematch because of the controversial ending. Therefore, she's the rightful number one contender. What did Charlotte do before suddenly coming back to earn this shot? She's not even challenging for the championship. She lost. She comes back on SmackDown. Oh, you got this title. I want it. Woo! Like, my fucking God. It's like, WWE, enough. I get it. You're trying to make her 16-time champion, but you're rushing all this. And then you don't do anything in the middle between title reigns to make her feel like she's actually important. John fucking Cena, who I'll also get to in just a bit, when he was on top between 2005, 2014, he had more non-world championship programs than Charlotte. Think about that. He had more non-title world feuds during that 9-year span than Charlotte has had in the nearly 8 years she's been on the main roster. That's ridiculous. You can be on top and still have non-title feuds and still be relevant. But yet they don't do that. Like, you can't just keep fucking riding the same dead horse over and over, being like, let's go with Charlotte, pal. Like, this woman's got more plastic than a Barbie doll. Okay? She doesn't need to be at the forefront of this whole division. You got other women that are going to come up. You're going to, one day Charlotte's going to retire, and then all of a sudden you're going to be like,
oh, damn it, pal. Who the hell do we put in the main, spot of the women's division now?
Because you're too focused on this one woman rather than building everybody else up. Build other people up. There's more to this division than Charlotte. God damn it. Bloody fucking hell. I hate when I have to get to this point, y'all. Let's see. Just the only woman care about because she's a legend. Exactly. The other women, you may have a varying degree about. I mean, like, Bayley's okay. I mean, Becky, like, maybe if she was a bit more like the man, like you saw at the beginning, it would be easy to get behind her if she wasn't busy focusing on makeup and all that shit. Let's see. Yo, TUC, what's up? Charlotte Flair gets child shots just for existing. Exactly. Doesn't have to win a match to earn the shot. Even look at 2018. Why do you think that backfired? She lost the SmackDown Women's Championship to Carmella. I think she had one or two rematches afterwards. She disappeared for a few months, comes back, and immediately, right before SummerSlam, put me in the match. Woo! And then beats Carmella in a match, gets added to the match that Becky herself earned. Becky was doing nothing after losing the SmackDown Women's Championship almost 2 years prior when she lost it to Alexa Bliss at the TLC pay-per-view, the tables match that they had in 2016. And then while Charlotte was gone, Becky stepped up, started getting built up, became the rightful number one contender. But yet WWE thought you could rightfully book Becky as a heel when she was legitimately done wrong? Think about that. Like, God, I can't stand impatient women. Oh yeah, especially when they're in bed. Oh, come on, fuck me already. Does that kind of that's impatient? So what's on Flair? She'd been cut years ago. Exactly. I mean, like I said, she's lucky. She's the only member of Ric Flair's children that got into the business that actually got a break. I mean, Reed, he passed away too young. And David, he wasn't even given a chance. I mean, outside of like WCW. But I mean, WWE, the only thing you remember him for was Undertaker kicking his ass. Let's see, women were better in early mid-2000s. Lita Ivory, Victoria Ivory. Yeah, because you had better names. Like, yeah, you had women that were used as sex appeal, and there are some women where, quite frankly, if they're not good in the ring, but they have sex appeal, it's not exactly wrong to at least use that from time to time. I mean, like Tori Wilson or Stacey Keibler, but you had legitimate names in there. Like, Trish got better. Lita was great since the beginning. Victoria, she worked her way up, made her name for herself. Ivory, an underrated name. Jacqueline, tough as fuck. Molly Holly, I feel, is one of the most underrated in-ring women of all time. And Mickie James, still a legend of this day. Listen to the reaction she got when she was that quote-unquote forbidden door entry for the Royal Rumble not too long ago. Crowd went nuts. Let's see. The fact she's related. Ric Flair should win beginning title shot and Reigns. Exactly. But of course, she's blonde. Woo! It's just like, my God. Do something with this woman other than just shoehorning her into the same position over and over and over and over. Please. Lesnar Double Z rank. I think I just turned that up to like a fucking 15 at this point, man. And she doesn't draw. I don't even know if she's even drawing ratings at all. I don't pay attention to numbers. Push her 20 more years. I doubt she's even going to be in the business 20 more years. I know it was either Salamonster or just Alex, or you guys may remember him as Deluxe Man. One of them made a video saying it's like once you become 16-time champion, and it's not going to be too long from now, where does she go from there? What else is she going to accomplish? Because they're just shoehorning her and rushing her into all these title reigns so fast. Ric Flair's 16 world title reigns happened in a far longer span of time in comparison to Charlotte. And yeah, some of the time was padded out because you had that idiot Jim Herd at the helm of everything, trying to force Ric Flair away. And then, of course, the shit booking later on in WCW where they tried to make him look like a joke. But at least he wasn't showing all these 16 reigns within like 10 years. John Cena's non-world title feuds at WWE. In fact, I'm going to make that a podcast episode. Okay? Mark my words, because I'm going to put an entire episode to like talk about all the non-world title feuds John Cena had during his time on top between WrestleMania 21 and SummerSlam 2014 to show that even when you're on top, you can still have non-world title feuds and still be relevant. You don't need to be at the tip top every time you're on TV. Wonder Becky got cheered. Exactly, because again, Becky was screwed. She earned her way up to that number one contender spot. Charlotte just slipped right in. Woo! So then Melina in the mid-2000 division. Exactly. I know Melina had an attitude issue back day, or at least a perceived bad one. But I mean, she worked her way up. She actually did better than expected. Props to her. Hey, what's up, I? Let's see. Tori Wilson was improving until she got hurt. Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I can't remember one good Tori Wilson match. No offense to her, but I just can't remember anything. Anyway, now that I got the ranting stuff out of my system, hopefully for now, let's get to the third match. Gunther, not the guy who's serving coffee from Friends, versus Matt Riddle, the hippie. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know how Riddle became number one contender because I don't watch Riddle stuff. I don't care about the hippie dude. But all of a sudden, he's number one contender at Gunther's Intercontinental Championship, and he's going in there with a busted ankle. Go with the splits entrance. I cannot believe she's able to do that. It's unbelievable for Melina. But they have the match. I mean, Riddle held his own. I'll give him props there, but then Gunther kept focusing on the leg, and that was eventually Riddle's downfall. Because I got to question this. First of all, what was with Matt Riddle's hair? He looked like Madonna from that image from her with that music awards or whatever that was doing that people were spraying pictures around where her face was puffy. It's are you trying to look like Madonna? And then he jumps in the ring, and instead of having colorful pigeons shooting out of his ass, now it's all colorful fish. Why do you have colorful fish up your ass, Riddle? Huh? How do they survive? Bro, I just had a bunch of magical fish shoving up my ass, bro. My God. This one was just a pretty face match, jury. Well, I mean, again, like I said, there are women who aren't the best in the ring, but they can be used for eye candy, and Tori Wilson fit that role properly. Not every woman has to be, quote-unquote, respected in the ring. There are women who can be eye candy and be comfortable with that. I think Tori Wilson said in her Hall of Fame speech, she didn't mind it. She was, part of a lot of guys' puberties back in the day. So, I mean, at least she was given a role. I mean, if you want proof that she wasn't really the best in the ring, look at the match she had with Dawn Marie. Still want to shove him down a flight of stairs. I already got that video still saved on my computer that happening. But anyway, so Gunther makes Riddle tap out to a heel hook. So Gunther retains. His Intercontinental Championship run is still going. And then, post-match, out comes the Scottish psychopath, the Scottish warrior, Drew McIntyre. He's back, folks. Face-to-face with Gunther, Glasgow kiss, that headbutt that he does. Boom! Drop kicks, a.k.a. the whole, whatever that drop kick is, name, I can't remember it. But he drop kicks Gunther, so he's going for the Intercontinental Championship. So I guess the whole rumors of him staying away from WWE is not true. But it makes you wonder, how is Drew McIntyre on his own going to be able to dethrone Gunther? Because you look back at WrestleMania 39, neither Sheamus nor Drew McIntyre combined could dethrone the Intercontinental Champion. So what is it going to take for Drew to do it on his own? Makes you question that there. Now, the fourth match. Cody Rhodes, whoa, versus the hardened criminal, Dominic Mysterio. I mean, the whole thing of just I think they're both second generation superstars. I think they're being billed as going one-on-one just because. Cody gets a win. Dominic tried running away. I mean, it was an okay match, but nothing you're going to remember. All you remember is the crowd singing along and Cody taking off his wrist cast, and he beat Dominic. What the fuck ever? Let's see. Feud for the podcast. I mean, I had this idea for the last little bit to talk about it in podcasts, but I mean, it's going to probably take about till maybe the end of this month or maybe early next month for me to discuss that subject, because I got some other topics still going along, and I want to get another couple of Saturday Morning Slam reviews before I get to that topic. So, in fact, let me type that up so I don't forget, because I got the notes over here on my computer. John Cena's non-world title feud. Whoop. Capitalization matters. Okay. Now I won't forget, because I got to keep it in little docs. So, great to see Drew back, but can he one-on-one dethrone Gunther? The Brock Lesnar was going to return after the match. There were people in my Discord server that questioned the same thing. Because it's like Brock decimated Cody, and people want to see Brock destroy Dominic. But, I mean, Brock ain't around, so, I mean, maybe he'll come back for SummerSlam, but who knows what he's going to do there. Give Cody something to do until WrestleMania. Yeah, because who knows if he's ever going to be world champion. I mean, he can go after Seth Rollins' title. But, I mean, you got to build him up to be number one contender again. He'll be on Raw to set up Lesnar Rhodes 3. Well, I mean, I think I've heard rumors saying that they want to do a third match and have a stipulation we haven't seen in a while for WWE. It's like, oh, great, we're going to see a bra and panties match between Brock and Cody. Or, maybe we're going to see Kennel from Hell. We haven't seen that in over 20 years. Maybe we'll get dogs that aren't going to fucking piss and shit around ringside. Anyway. Now, this next match, next two matches, I'm going to have to skim through. I wasn't at home when it happened because dinner kicked in, but I did see the highlights. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Bayley, Becky, Trish, Zelina Vega, Zoe Stark, and Io Sky. So, I saw the ending. Io Sky handcuffed Becky and Bayley between the rungs of the ladder, so she could climb the ladder and become Miss Money in the Bank. And for the first time in quite a while, somebody who won the women's Money in the Bank ladder match didn't cash in the same day. The first time in a while. Well, as long as fucking Io doesn't cash it in tomorrow or coming up on Raw, this will be the longest somebody's held the Money in the Bank contract for the women's side since Carmella was the contract holder. But I mean, Io winning, I think a lot of people saw that, other than maybe Becky or Bayley again. But Io winning, it works, especially if they're going to finally break up Damage Control. Even though I think Damage Control has been around for, a year? Something like that. But the group is going nowhere. So, fuck that. See, Brock is busy strangling deer, giving a... Oh, God, no! Do the hump. Like, he's the world's greatest farmer, isn't he? I see Shadow 2.0. Well, I mean, I will give credit to Seth since he became world champion. I mean, he's a fighting champion, kind of like what we saw with Brad during his first run back in 92. So it's a fighting champion going everywhere, showing like, hey, I'm defending the championship more often than Roman. So it's like fulfilling what fucking Triple H said when the belt was unveiled and all that. We have a champion we can see every week actually competing, rather than just being like, acknowledge me. See you in 2 months. Acknowledge me again. Fisting. Anyway, speaking of Seth Rollins, let's get to the next match. Like I said, I have to skim through this because, again, I missed this match, but I made it for the main event. Seth Rollins retained his world championship against Finn Balor. I know Finn was going around like, oi, fella, I'm dark, and I want a title shot. I'm still pissed that you broke my momentum 7 years ago, fella. Like, Finn, I don't care about you still. I don't care if you're dark. I don't care if you're a demon. I don't care if you're wearing pride colors. I don't care if you're wearing all white. I don't care if the Fiend is fucking giving you the mandible claw up your rectum. I don't care about you. Go away. But I mean, it does make sense now why Damian Priest won the contract, because it's building tension between. Maybe we're seeing possibly the breakup of Damage Control. We saw the breakup of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Now maybe we're seeing dissension within Judgment Day, because Damian Priest ended up costing Finn Balor the opportunity to become champion because he became a distraction, but Seth still retained. I mean, it works. Like, I think people might have been a little back and forth, like, is Finn going to win? Is Seth going to win? I mean, if Finn's not the demon, he has no chance. All right? Vanilla Finn, fella Balor, isn't going to do shit. I mean, the last time he beat Seth, he had to be the demon. But this time, normal Finn Balor doesn't stand a chance. And plus, it's a good thing they did not switch the title, because it's like what we saw in 2002. When the World Heavyweight Championship came around in 2002, people were back and forth. Should Rob Van Dam have beaten Triple H at Unforgiven or not? And it turns out the right answer was no, because you can't establish a world championship if you're having to change hands and the first pay-per-view title defense less than a month after the belt debuts, because then it doesn't feel like a world championship. So, I mean, it's a good thing Seth retained, for more reasons than one. World Heavyweight Championship, the Mirror League Consolation Prize, 'cause nobody could beat Roman. Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. And 7 years ago, I know, it was 7 years ago when the Fruit Roll-Up Universal Championship came to light. Yay! In fact, I'm hoping to even, like, as soon as WWE finally retires the current WWE and the Blue Belt Universal Championship belt designs so that Roman could go back to one physical belt, I'm going to have 2 episodes set for the podcast. one for the WWE Championship design from 2014 to whenever they finally ditched that belt, and then same thing for the Universal Championship belt design from 2016 to present, because that gold one Roman has is all he needs. So once those two belts ditch, I'll have 2 episodes for those entire spans for those designs like I've had for past episodes. So please, WWE, get those belts off Paul. He doesn't need all the extra weight. It's the equivalent of when Paul Bearer had to keep carrying around the gigantic Earn 95. You don't need it. Stick with one belt. That's all you need for an Undisputed Champion. One proof, look back at Triple H when he became Undisputed Champion in 2002. Had 2 belts, downgraded 1, because 1 is all you need to be Undisputed Champion. Even though, again, how's he undisputed when there's more than 1 world champion in your company? Gotta question that. But now you get to the big main event because history was made. The Bloodline Civil War, the Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, the only remaining members of the Bloodline. And Paul Heyman in the corner with all the belts, because he just got to carry all that around in his luggage. So, I mean, this storyline has just been top-notch from beginning to end. Like, nothing has felt rushed. Nothing has felt fucked up. Yeah, there were some questionable moments, like people questioning if Sami should have dethroned Roman or if Cody should have done so at WrestleMania. But, I mean, you know what? It makes sense as time goes along because you got to keep focusing on the story, because that's what WWE is all about. Storytelling. And also making sure finishers don't mean jack shit. I mean, that's bound to happen. But finally, this main event happened because the Usos had enough of Roman's shit. Because both men were just getting pie-faced all over the place, just mistreated by Roman. Jimmy had enough, super kick Roman back at Night of Champions, telling Jay, I've done what you should have done a long time ago. And then Jay, should I stick with Roman or should I stick with my brother? So finally, he's like, oh, brother, I had to fucking measure up to you. And then, when it comes to you being the Bloodline, you out. And look at him, I'm out too. Boom. Super kick to Roman. One of the best moments so far. So now, the Usos were out of the Bloodline, babyfaces, trying to go against Roman and Solo to crumble the Roman Empire. Because at this point, Roman has not been pinned in a match in over 3.5 years. You had moments where it could have happened, but it still hadn't happened up to this point. I mean, you kept telling the story of Solo still being dominant because he was constantly dominating over the Usos. Then finally, once the Usos were getting tags in and getting away from Solo and starting to focus on Roman, they started coming with the comebacks, being dominant threats. Solo even crashed through the announce table because Jimmy got out of the way. And then the one weird moment, the ref bump where it looked like the referee fell through the ropes and broke his dick because he's touching himself. Oh, my dick. Oh. It's like, okay, but they didn't knock you out for long. I've seen other people get legit knocked out from getting kicked in the nuts in a UFC fight. Now you get bumped in the nuts. You're like, oh, yeah, Augusta Win is supposed to knock these fuckers out. But, I mean, it got really intense because at one point Roman got the spear on Jay. Jay kicked out while also behind the referee's back, low-blowing Roman. Genius. Because the referee did not see that because we're not ending this Civil War in a fucking disqualification. Finally, Solo gets taken care of. The Usos are on their own and just laying it into Roman with the super kicks. And Jay, the first man to be a pay-per-view feud opponent after Roman became Universal Champion at Payback 2020. The first real opponent that Roman had is the man that ended Roman's unpinned streak after getting the Usos splash off the top rope and pinning Roman in the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, Roman Reigns' unbeaten streak is dead by the very same man that became the first thorn in his side. The very first man who he was looking down at and saying,
I'm the head of the table, big dog. I'm the tribal chief.
The very man that influenced this revelation of his character for Roman. The man who became main event Jey Uso. The first big target for Roman is the very man that pinned Roman to end his undefeated streak after all this time. And how very fitting. And Roman, you could see he's sitting there on the floor, leaning up against the apron. He cannot believe this. He is pissed. Because at one or two other points, he could have gotten pinned, but the referee was down. Because, of course, like I said, referees get knocked out by a gust of wind. But this was insane. I did not think that Roman's undefeated streak would end like this. You would have thought it would have ended more at WrestleMania because it would have been fitting on the biggest stage of them all. But instead, it happened at Money in the Bank and then over in London. And I know Money in the Bank's become one of their biggest annual pay-per-views alongside with WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, especially because this has been an annual pay-per-view since 2010. But it is unbelievable that this was what started the downfall of Roman, because now the bloodline has crumbled. All there is for the bloodline left are Roman, Solo, and Paul Heyman. And now Roman has been proven he is not unbeatable. Like I said, we had times where he could have been beaten if the referee wasn't down in past matches. But now with the referee's count, Roman has now lost for the first time since TLC 2019. So now it's proven that the big dog, the head of the table, the tribal chief, is beatable. What's up? Long undefeated, 3.5 years. First time he has been pinned in a match since December of 2019. So over 3.5 years of not being pinned in the ring. It's unbelievable. But I mean, this is just insane because now it is proven Roman's not unbeatable. He is vulnerable. He is mortal. The head of the table, the tribal chief, the man who has been running roughshod, the greatest universal champion in history, can be beat. And it's been proven at the hands of Jey Uso. But now it makes you wonder, now that it's proven that Roman can be beaten, yeah, he's the big, tough final boss like you see in many video games, but it's proven he can be beaten. But now it makes you wonder who is going to be the man that is going to dethrone Roman Reigns. Because, yeah, you've got a lot of men that got bulldozed over Roman Reigns' time as champion. You had Jey Uso himself. You had Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. I mean, I'm glad Riddle got fucking steamrolled. Thank fuck. Daniel Bryan. You had, who did he face at the last couple of Survivor Series? I think he went up against, like, maybe Bobby Lashley or Big E or whoever it was for the reign supremacy shit, like it means anything. He's steamrolled just through just about everybody he can. But now, like I said, the man who was his first big thorn in his side after becoming Universal Champion almost 3 years ago was the man to prove that he's mortal. But now, like I said, could Jey be the guy to dethrone it and prove his name of being main event Jey Uso? Can he dethrone his own cousin? Only time will tell. But there's still one factor that's still in this, though. Solo Sikoa. As long as Solo is in the corner of his cousin and is still at war with his own brothers, Roman has still got backup to make sure he can still keep that championship around his waist. And yes, I mean the one that he still carries around, not the one that Paul Heyman is still carrying around his shoulders. But as long as Solo is still in Roman's corner, Roman probably still will not get dethroned yet. Whether it be Solo be the one to dethrone Roman, because I heard WWE's hiring him, or he just branches off on his own and then Roman's got nobody to watch his back because Solo's doing whatever the fuck, being Umaga 2.0. Like I said, it makes you wonder who's going to dethrone him. Only time will tell. So overall, with this Money in the Bank pay-per-view, like I said, it makes sense now for Damian Priest to be Mr. Money in the Bank. But everybody, I think, was right. It would have felt right for LA Knight, to win the Money in the Bank ladder match because he's the most over guy in the match. And I was glad to see everybody target Logan Paul. It's like, no, fuck you, Logan. You don't belong here. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, fuck. The women's tag division, like I said, scrap the belts. We don't need them. Drew McIntyre coming back after Gunther destroyed Matt Riddle. Thank fuck. And maybe Drew will dethrone Gunther, but who knows? Cody beating Dominic. Filler feud. Io Sky winning Money in the Bank. Makes sense. Seth retaining. Rightful choice. And maybe Judgment Day starting to crumble. And the Usos pinning Roman and Solo. Rightful choice. Like I said, now it makes you wonder what's going to happen this week on WWE television. Because I know Rhea's defending her championship against Natalya. By the way, why is Natalya still there? What's there left for her to do? Who's going to be next in line to challenge Seth Rollins for his championship? Who knows there? And how long is Io Sky going to hold the contract for? Could she stay on SmackDown and go against Asuka? Because I know they've been teasing that feud with speaking in their own languages that I can't fucking translate. Or could she jump ship over to Raw and go after Rhea? You never know. I mean, as long as she doesn't challenge for the tag team titles, then I'm all good. But anyway. Oh, shit, I almost... Well, let me look at the other ones. Jim will turn on Jay. I don't think so. I mean, Jimmy just turned babyface. It would be pointless to turn him heel again right afterwards. Logan Paul lost. He doesn't belong in WWE. Yeah, especially with all the scamming that he still had... Money scamming that he still hasn't paid off. Forgot, did you mention... Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. Thanks for reminding me. I kept forgetting because I moved on to the Intercontinental Championship match. John Cena came back. Massive surprise. And, like, the crowd, like, happy to see him. They weren't really singing, John Cena sucks. Let's see. Sign nonetheless, too. Man, we all are. Can you tell it's serious, especially dressing up like a cat? I still can't take Natalya seriously because, like, she has no direction. I think I may have mentioned this in a video in the past, either that or maybe in the Lost episode that I still haven't made public on the podcast, that when you look at her heel character, all she does is tell people to shut up. All you remember her for is telling people to shut up, doing nothing, and queefing. That's all I remember her doing. Like, she's been on the main roster now for 15 years. 15 or 16. She debuted around 2007, 2008. But a lot of the time, she's just been there. So it's like, what is there for her to do? You know? But anyway, quickly get back to Cena. He's back. Suddenly made a, like, in-ring, like, segment. And the crowd went nuts. They weren't singing John Cena sucks to his music. They were surprisingly positive because, of course, absence makes the heart grow fonder. You haven't seen him since WrestleMania. And he's talking about saying, like, he's glad to see WWE having an event back in London, and we need to see WrestleMania in London. Yay! But, I mean, that might be a bit iffy because there's still a time difference compared to when it can air here in the U.S. and then, of course, when it happens in London. But, I mean, if Money in the Bank or Clash of the Castle can work, we could possibly try to have a big pay-per-view in, like, WrestleMania and over in the fucking London or the UK. Just as long as their time management works, I can get behind it. Yeah, have a good one too. You too, Charles. Seriously, since for our gimmick bullshit, it's just like, again, nothing she does means anything anymore. Like, one point she was teaming up with, like, fucking the Great Khali and Hornswoggle for no reason. What was the purpose of all that? She's queefing all over the place. She's teaming with Beth Phoenix. She's got cat ears. She's getting offended so easily on social media. Like, come on, Natalya. What is there for you to do? Tamina's the only one nowhere. Exactly. The only thing she's done is become women or 24/7 champion. She's been on the main roster now for 13 years. Yet she hasn't done anything meaningful. Press me since WrestleMania. Yeah, again, he's just more of a celebrity, but it's like, compare him to everybody else who's in the WWE, he hasn't had to pay his dues in terms of being an in-ring guy compared to everybody else who's earned their spots in the locker room. He just waltzed right in. Woo! I'm a Maverick. Woo! Oh, I fucked Santa Claus's wife. Oh, I'm going to go to Japan. Oh, I sold people millions of dollars, but I haven't paid it off. Yeehaw! God. Can be done in the UK. Again, like I said, it's all about time management. If it can start at a good time and end at a good time, then it can work. As long as WrestleMania is not going like quadrillion hours long like we saw with 35. But anyway, to quickly get back to Cena, he's back in the ring. Everybody's happy to see him. He wants to see WWE have WrestleMania finally in the UK, and then out comes Grayson Waller. Oi, I'm from Australia, fella. I'm mixing up fucking Ireland and Australia now. Be like, oi, crikey, let me go. I'm down from the land down under. And I think, no, WrestleMania should be in Australia where it's actually beautiful. Women can be in bikinis and it's not all cold and dreary and all that shite. And then he's like, oh, Cena, I could help you get on the card of WrestleMania, give you the rub. It's like, really? You think you're going to have Cena the rub between you and Cena, who's actually the star? And then fucking Cena tries to leave. He's like, no, I'm not facing you. Fuck you. You ain't important. He tries to leave. Grayson Waller sucker attacks him. But then Cena gives him the old, fuck you. And that was it. So, I mean, it was fun to see Cena there and an interaction with Grayson Waller. I mean, could Cena be at SummerSlam this year? Who knows? But, I mean, really, like, I think even said in an interview his body can't keep up as much as it used to because, like, that may explain the lackluster performance in the match against Austin Theory at WrestleMania. But, I mean, who knows how many matches he's got left in him. The man's been connected to WWE for the past 21 years, not including the time with, like, developmental. just in terms of main roster. 21 years involved with this company, and the body can only handle so much. And before you know it, if Cena keeps going, by the time he retires, he's going to be fully bald. But who knows? You know, like I said, it was great seeing Cena, and it was a genuine surprise. Like we saw with Money in the Bank last year. Oh my God, John Cena's here! Cole just jizzed all over the camera. Cut. So, I mean, at least that was a pleasant moment. Do WrestleMania in other countries maybe every 5 years? Yeah, because, like, again, it would be nice to see them doing something other than just going in the exact same, like, states all the time. In fact, let me see. Like, I want to try to memorize WrestleMania locations, but I'm trying not to. Let me see every WrestleMania since 30s state locations. Let's see. Austin Theory is basically Santino Marella. No, not really. Like, Santino, he never did the selfies. Like, Santino, he was cringy doing, like, the whole Cobra shit and the trombone shit, which I fucking hated. And, of course, he so haunts me in my nightmares because of the Saturday Morning Slam reviews. And at least, like I said, Santino didn't do the selfie crap, and Austin's not being all goofy crap like that. But people care. Like, at least Austin Theory can be taken a bit more seriously than Santino. Nobody bought Santino as a future world champion. Austin Theory, Mania Night 2. His left. Want to lose clip paycheck? Maybe. But I mean, again, I'm just glad they dropped the selfie shit with this guy. Yeah, they had to sacrifice also his Money in the Bank contract. It's like, oh, I want to be U.S. champion for whatever fucking reason. But I mean, it took until then for him to drop that stupid selfie shit, which I'm so glad they got rid of. The only person that did the selfie shit right was Tyler Breeze, because that was like he was a model and he wasn't obnoxious to be like, selfie, yeah, woo, oh, I'm out of phone storage, shit. And then he breaks his phone afterwards. He's pissed off. He doesn't want to delete any photos off his phone. He can't back him up to the iCloud. Oh no, your gimmick's dead. Fuck you. But anyway, it wouldn't, like Cody was saying, it would be nice to see WrestleMania travel, because let's look at the state locations and everything since WrestleMania 25. Okay, 25, they were in Houston, Texas at the Reliant Dome. 26, they were in Glendale, Arizona at the University of Phoenix Stadium. Then they get to the even more gigantic arenas and everything, because 27, Georgia Dome in Atlanta. 28, the Miami Gardens and the Florida in the Sun Life Stadium. 29, they go up to New Jersey for the MetLife Stadium. 30, Mercedes-Benz Dome, or Superdome. Not the Silverdome, Hogan, Superdome. 31, they're in California for Levi Stadium. 32, they're back in Texas at AT&T. 33, they're back in Florida for the first time since fucking 28 at the Camping World Stadium. 34, they're back at the exact same Superdome they were at 4 years prior. 35, they're in New Jersey again, just like they were, and at the exact same arena or stadium, MetLife Stadium, that they were 6 years prior. Then WrestleMania 36, it worked because, like, it made sense for Orlando Performance Center. That made sense because of the pandemic, because they were going to do Tampa, which they did the next year, Raymond James Stadium. So they had to back up those plans. 38, they're back at the AT&T Stadium that they did at WrestleMania 32 in Arlington, Texas. They did the SoFi Stadium this year for WrestleMania 39 in California. And next year, they're going to Pennsylvania. So you look at the states from 25 onward. Texas, Arizona, Georgia, Florida, New Jersey, Louisiana, California, Texas, Florida again, Louisiana again, New Jersey again, back to Florida, still in Florida, Texas, California, and now they're going to Pennsylvania. And I believe, when was the last time they did Pennsylvania? I think that was 15? Yeah, last time was 15. Golly, because that one was the first Union Center. Now they're going to Lincoln Financial Field. So, first time they're doing that in about 25 years. But it's just like they gotta space out these areas more, because not everybody's going to want to have to travel all over, like, every gigantic state every single time where it's going to be overly populated to fucking travel all these big WrestleManias. Who's going to want to go every year going just to travel to California and New Jersey and Florida and Texas, like those 4 states every few years just for WrestleMania every single time? Expand them out. Like, for fuck's sake, we haven't had a WrestleMania here in my state since 23. It's crazy. Imagine WrestleMania in Japan. Dave Meltzer would be creaming his pants. He can cream in his pants or cream all over those papers he's still got over the floor. And then it's like, oh my God, I got to clean up my floor for once because I got jizz everywhere. Give him an excuse to be tidy. Canada was the only country outside the U.S. that had WrestleMania, right? Yes, that is correct. In fact, I think there were only 2, because 6 was in the Sky Dome for Toronto, and then that was the same thing for 18 in the exact same building. Yeah, so 6 and 18 are the only 2 WrestleManias to happen outside of the United States. This is a major surprise. Let's see. UK is getting some wrestling later this summer. Today, WWE Money in the Bank. AEW. Oh, yeah, they're going all in for Wembley Stadium coming up later on, or at the end of next month. So, I mean, hopefully AEW is going to do well. Let's see how that show is going to be, because first major... When was the last time they did a major wrestling event in Wembley? Like, the last one I can recall was SummerSlam 92, but I don't remember any other major wrestling shows happening there since. Like I said, I know they've done some other UK pay-per-views over the years within these companies, but nothing major. So it would be the first time in over 30 years. WrestleMania 19 is my state. Lucky you. One of the greatest WrestleManias ever you had in your state. I mean, 23 here was a really great WrestleMania. Second ever WrestleMania ever to happen in my state, other one being 3 over at the now destroyed Silverdome. Make sure you know that, Hogan. But who knows? I mean, UK, like I said, UK WrestleMania can work as... I know people have this debate on whether or not to have 2 nights. I think if they're going to do a UK WrestleMania someday, they have to do 2 nights, because you can't do this whole WrestleMania going overnight into the next day thing like we saw with 35, because that's way too late for people to be out traveling to try to go home after a gigantic show, because there was serious unrest by the time WrestleMania 35 happened. And 2, people were burned out by the time that night happened. Like, for somebody like me, it's easy to sit through one night of WrestleMania and then have another night of WrestleMania, rather than just having this gigantic, long-ass show that just, like, I could easily have almost an entire sleep schedule through. So, they can do it at UK, but again, it's going to be tough to try to do a long-ass show, because the time that it starts here is going to be different compared to the UK because of the time difference. So, I mean, either they have to do it extremely early if they're going to do one night, or they have to break it into 2 nights. Because, like I said, they have to do this show here today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think there's like at least a 5-hour difference over in the UK compared to Eastern Standard Time. So I don't think the people in the UK want to have a long-ass show where it gets past midnight their time to finally be done with WrestleMania and be burned out by the end, to the point where they're dreary and getting into fucking car accidents. Like, oh, I'm too tired. I can't focus on the road. Man. So went to Austin's last match until 38. Yeah, I know. Like, I never thought Austin would ever come back. Like, watching that match live as it happened stunned me, because I didn't become a wrestling fan until 2005, so I never thought I would watch a Stone Cold match live as it happened. And to see Stone Cold taking the bumps he did, fucking great. I know there were rumors that he was going to try to make an in-ring return again for like another match, but he couldn't get in shape in time due to his schedule. So, I mean, it's a shame, but even if it's just a one-time thing and he never gets back in the ring again because of outside stuff, at least he got to see his last match was in his home state. Let's see, 20 in your state, traveling, attending 40 next year, even though I live in Pennsylvania. I mean, that's a good, close distance to do. And plus, like, New York. In fact, when was the last one that they did in New York for WrestleMania? I don't think... Well, I know 35 and 29 were borderline between New Jersey and New York, but the last one to happen in New York was 20 when they did it in Madison Square Garden. But they're never going to do the Garden again because they want to keep doing these gigantic venues just to
make attendance records, pal.
Even if WWE's inflating it like fucking Charlotte Flair's breasts. So unless it's a gigantic stadium, they're not going to try to book the biggest show of the year there because
we're past that, pal.
Let's see. How much AEW and Forbidden Door? No, I still have not seen that yet. I've heard some rave reviews about some of that stuff. I mean, I kind of want to see it. Like, I know I can get it on XWT, but I just haven't gotten around to it because I was busy trying to get used to the AEW video game. And before I continue, quick note here, folks, for anybody who listens to the podcast, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bonus episode of the podcast drops, I'm reviewing AEW Fight Forever. It's going to be about a 12-minute episode, so not too long. Going to focus on core gameplay, so I'm not going to cover the Road to Elite because I'm actually still working on it right now. But AEW Fight Forever review comes tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm playing, it's the Nintendo Switch port that I'm reviewing, so stay tuned for that. Just for a note there. But I'll try to watch the AEW show when I can. I just got to download it. They're all so much fun to watch, especially night one. Yeah, that's also a common pattern that we see kind of with these two nights. It's like one night is better than the other when it comes to these overall shows. Like 36, first night was better than the second. 37, maybe both were equal, but it's hard to remember. I don't want to really remember 37 that much. 38, first night was better than the second, especially with that main event. And then 39, I think everybody's in agreement. 39 felt like the first night was better booked in overall compared to the second night. But I mean, both nights were still equally right. 10 AEW in Rochester, New York, one day too. I've had some people even questioning if I was going to go to like an AEW event when it was happening here in my state, and I'm just like, nah, because like I'm not always in a big wrestling mood to attend a show. Like we had a wrestling show that happened nearby just last Saturday, and I chose not to go because I just wasn't in the mood. It's the first time a local show was happening that I didn't go to after the last 7 years. So, I mean, that's saying something if I'm not in the mood to attend a local wrestling show. So that's kind of a surprise there. Alright, yesterday, just waiting for it to arrive in a few days. Which console are you getting it on, Cody? Because we got multiple consoles that game is on. But now, speaking of Fight Forever, in fact, let me look at the reviews, at least according to what it says on Wikipedia. While I load the page, let me quickly grab a Coca-Cola because my throat's getting dry. Just 1 second, folks. Be right back. All right, instead of my Coke, I had to get my bottle of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Let's see. Okay, more of the comments here. Let's see. Anyone want to start watching Red Dead after 19? Yeah, like I said, we never thought we would see Stone Cold wrestle. I know he was supposed to wrestle that Taboo Tuesday 2005 to go against Coachman, but there are back and forth conflicting reports whether Stone Cold was too injured in training to have the match or he just refused to have it because he would have had to lose to Coachman of all people. And the whole stipulation was that Stone Cold won, JR got his reviews back, or got his job back. But it was amazing to see Stone Cold return. Never thought it would happen. Understandable. Yeah, because you know the reasons why we had that talk recently. Xbox. I also wanted to get AEW to Fight Forever on the Xbox. The problem, though, I've got to say, is like I love the Xbox Series console. I think it's great. But the problem is the storage is so easy to take up with the games that release on this generation of the games. Like, if I wanted to play an Xbox One version of a game rather than the full Xbox Series console, I have to download it on the Xbox One, put it on my external storage, connect to the Series console, and then play that, because that's the only way you can play a proper game, because if I want to play an Xbox Series version of the game, it has to be on the internal drive, and those games easily take up storage space. Otherwise, I have to either delete games or move them like between the external drive and the internal drive. These games take up so much space. I was just like, I can't keep moving games because, in fact, let me check my internal storage. See, I keep grabbing the wrong controller. I keep forgetting I got my Xbox Series controller plugged in rather than the Xbox One there. Let me see what games I got on my internal storage. Internal, I got Fortnite, the Trinity, the Trilogy, the Definitive Collection games of the Grand Theft Auto series, the current Grand Theft Auto Online that we got on this console, WWE 2K23, and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel game. And I know people may be thinking, oh, why do you have Fortnite on here? Well, I mean, if you saw some streams with Big Boy, you see I've tried playing the game again, but all because of this, I only have like 42 gigabytes of internal storage left, despite only 7 games being on my internal, like, fucking hard drive on the Xbox. And I don't want to have to spend money on external drive because that's another 500 gigs. and there's no guarantee it's going to work, and it has to be a specific thing, because an external drive, you try booting an Xbox Series game off there, it's going to be like, oh, we can't play it. So, like I said, the only way workaround is buy a game that, like, downloaded the game from the Xbox One console, so you get that version, put that on the external drive, plug that in, and then you play that version. Because if I download the game from the Xbox Series game or console, it's going to be Xbox Series version rather than the Xbox One. So it's like, oh, you can't download another version there, so you can't put it on the external drive and play it from there with no problems. Like, so many fucking exceptions. Stupid. Like I said, I love Xbox, but it's like, you got this storage problem and how hard it is to try to get a proper drive that can plug in, that you can add on to, and the pricing, it's just like, it's too much of a headache. I mean, it probably never happened. It was Rock Austin 4. Yeah, plus it's just like, well, I'll talk about it in just a second. Oh, I need that Mountain Dew. But the thing is, we don't really need Rock Austin 4, because if you look at the story of Rock Austin 3, the whole story was that The Rock had never beaten Stone Cold at WrestleMania, and that was the only thing left for him to do for his career. Like, yeah, he had pinned Stone Cold in the past, like the finals of the main event for Survivor Series 2001 for the whole Alliance Invasion storyline ending. But other than that, in terms of like one-on-one, like big time match, it had not happened. So that was the only thing The Rock needed to do. So it doesn't really feel like we need a fourth one. And plus, we had seen them go one-on-one and like Raws, and like you saw it at Rebellion 2001, you saw it at the DX pay-per-view in 97. I mean, I'm sure people would love to see it again. I mean, it's Rock Austin, but it's just like, there's just no need for like a fourth one between them. Like I said, you look at the story of the third, the story's done. It just feels like there's no real, what can they really do for a fourth match? You know, if anybody wants to give any ideas, please feel free to do so in the chat. I'd love to hear some of these. Amazing indeed. Never seen Stone Cold wrestle live. Kaz will watch too. I'm so proud. I know, like, I remember watching that live here at my computer. It was just like, I could not believe it. Like, seeing Stone Cold have a match after being a fan since 2005. Unbelievable. And the bumps that he took, I couldn't believe it. I mean, the beer that he drank during the match probably helped deaden the pain too. Like taking a suplex on the concrete probably helped him manage the pain. Hey, both won in the series. Yeah, I use both too. Well, I use my series now because I haven't used my Xbox One any of my 3 Xbox One consoles since I started playing the series console, especially when I'm playing GTA Online and everything like that. You know, I'll talk about GTA Online in just a moment, but it's just like, I haven't played the Xbox One since then too. And like Cody's saying here, yeah, the storage is expensive. In fact, let me check that price. Because I don't know what the price is for it now. It'll fucking scream load. Let's see. Play straight from the disc like the PS3. Yeah, instead of having to download anything and put anything on the internal drive. But I mean, even with me, I've got the Xbox Series S, so there is no disc drive. Yay. It's actually better than expected too. I know, Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens really worked. Props to both of them on that one. But let me see what the price is for the Xbox storage right now. Shit. Not even showing anything, it's just like general stuff. Because it's saying like Seagate storage expansion cards. Oh, there it is. So you got 3 cards that you can put in: a 512 gig, a 1 terabyte, and 2 terabytes. 512 they estimate about $90. 1 terabyte, $150, and 2 terabytes, $280. I could get an internal hard drive or even a fucking SSD for my computer for less than that. Who in the right mind is going to pay $280 for a 2 terabyte internal storage drive specifically for the Xbox? I mean, hell, like that 1 terabyte they're saying was $150. I paid just slightly less than that for a 1 terabyte micro SD card for my Nintendo Switch when I just upgraded the storage about a month or two ago. Oh my god, that is ridiculous. Absolute dog shit. There's no reason for it to be that high. Having the time of his life with Austin. Of course, who wouldn't have a time of their life going against one of the greatest legends of wrestling, history of wrestling? CA, one for PS4, one of Xbox One. Let me see what I even got. My external that I got for my Series S that I use for everything is also Xbox Seagate. I got a couple other external drives that were for the PS4. In fact, the one that I got there, the one to my PS4 now is the WD, even though I haven't used it. And I got 2 other ones that randomly died on me. So it's like, I don't know if I can ever fix those. But let me quickly talk about the GTA thing, and then I'll talk about AEW Forever a little bit without spoiling my review. What is going on with the GTA fucking DLC that's going on lately? You have to add stuff to your Avenger, and then you got these new missions. But some of these missions, I still can't even do it. I'm trying to do them solo. Like, one of them, you got to be in your Avenger, and then, like, you got all these vehicle airplanes and boats flying around. It's like, oh, you got to destroy all these. But it's like you can't do it on your own because you got flying vehicles all over the place. Choppers, other helicopters, and planes flying in, boats. Like that's impossible to do solo. I think the GTA series channel has done it, but it's just like I can't get it done. It's nuts. 124 gig micro SD, $20. That's actually pretty good. In fact, let me check Amazon a second because I bought a micro SD card for my Nintendo Switch initially. Let me see what I paid for it. Because I can't remember the storage size. Oh yeah, my 1 terabyte micro SD card that I have now only cost me about $138 that I got a little over a month ago. So that's quite the steal there for a 1 terabyte micro SD card. But let me check micro SD. God, I've gone through a lot of these ones. Motherfucking. Which was the bad one? Because I know I did one for, like, I gave a negative review on one. Found it. So it was one that was. Let me check what I paid for. Okay, there was one from a company called Nuilaks, Nuilaks, for about $45. It was 512 gigs. And the name of it says micro SD card, 512 gigabytes with adapter, high-speed SD card for Nintendo Switch, Class 10 memory card for Android smartphone, yada. The thing that it said in the title that intrigued me was for Nintendo Switch. Here's the problem, though. I mean, thankfully, the thing is not even available on fucking Amazon. Thank fuck. The problem is this micro SD card, despite that size, does not work for the Nintendo Switch. If you guys go on the Nintendo website, they say, in fact, let me check. In fact, I also still got the micro SD card here in my possession because it's a pile of shit. They say when you get a micro SD card, it has to have what was that label that it had? SDXC or HC or whatever it is on the card. You have to have that on the SDXC. The card has to say SDXC on there for it to be compatible with the Switch. If it does not, it will not work. And this, unfortunately, this Nuilaks card, and I've got it right here in my hand, even though my camera's not on. I put this on my Switch, and any information that I had transferred on there was corrupted because it's not actually compatible, despite the name of the listing on Amazon. So yeah, the price was intriguing, $45 for 512 gigs. But again, it's not compatible with the Switch, despite the name of the listing. So, like, I don't know if it works on anything else. I have not tested out since then. Like, I've got other micro SD cards still. Like, I got a couple 32 gigs, and even a 400 gig. And even with my hack Switch that I use for the video talk about WWE 2K18 on an overclock Switch, that one's like, I think I got 500 to 512 gigs on that one, but that's a SD card that actually is compatible. So if you guys get a micro SD card on for your Nintendo Switch, it has to say SDXC on there. If not, don't buy it because it will not work. And unfortunately, like I said, this card, I thought for $45 and it said in the title it was going to work, especially with the size for that price. But no, I put everything on there and it said, oh, it's all corrupted, so it was a waste of time. So that's the thing to remember. Let's see. Paid for 5 terabyte, golly, easy store hard drive for $120. That's it? Golly. Drives around same size as Seagate one for Xbox One, PS4. Jeez. Let me even check what Newegg says, because I think I've seen some external drives that they were even putting on sale that are just insane. External drive, because I was seeing some advertisements for some of this stuff for insane sizes and prices. Mainly use Nintendo Online, play old games. I haven't even played any of the backward or games for online just yet. I mean, I got a bunch of like ROMs because of RetroArch on my hack Switch, but I haven't even touched the online mode yet for the main one. So no easy store hard drive, 6 terabyte above size Wi-Fi router. Good gosh. That's absolutely insane. Let me see. I know I saw the drive here on Newegg, because the sizes were just absolutely nuts. Let's see, sort of highest prices. Oh, excuse me, what? Oh, geez, some of these are way too freaking much. Okay, not these ones that are in like gigantic cases that almost look like servers. And not ones that look like 6. Oh, here's one. One of them they got a WD 28 terabyte external hard drive is worth over $1,400. That is nuts. Like, I've got 4 external drives myself. 3 for my main PC and 1 for the gaming one, because the gaming one I hold gaming footage that I filmed over there, and of course my Steam library. And I don't think that's even close to any of this size. And one of their other drives that they have is like over $1,200 for 36 terabytes, which I know it's on sale. That doesn't make sense. They got a 44 terabyte one for $1,200. Where are they coming with these prices? They got a 10 terabyte drive that's for like $150. Jeez. I could back up all my videos on that stuff. Because I don't know how much... What's my main external drive's overall storage on this one that I get my videos on? Geez, not even 4 terabytes because some space went off. I should have gotten the 10 terabyte one. That would have been amazing. And I think that's more than the drive that I have for the WWE footage that I got for my drive. But it's just like some of these sizes and prices. It's just like, I know hard drives and SSDs and everything are in like demand and everything because of computers and all, or for storage and backing up and everything. But it's just like, it's nuts when an internal hard drive that you can have for your computer, like a WD Blue or something like that, is far cheaper than what you give with a micro or an external hard drive that you connect through a USB port. So it's like, man, absolutely nutso. But anyway, oh, geez, almost forgot to even check on the Discord server because it's suddenly going up and all that stuff. Everybody talking about money in the bank. But anyway, to quickly go, And terabyte, 2 terabytes, enough for me. I need a lot of storage, especially when I'm doing with how big the size of my videos are for my podcast, because I'm recording those in 1080p. I wanted to even when I was doing the video for my podcast tomorrow for talking about AEW Fight Forever, I wanted to use footage to place in, but it's like the 2 hours of footage in 1080p, 60 frames per second gameplay was over 33 gigabytes in size. So it's like that would have been a bit too much. But from like I'm even looking on Wikipedia that they're saying for reviews for Fight Forever. According to Metacritic, they're saying like PC is got like a 68 out of 100 rating, 65 for PS5, and the Switch they gave a 47 out of 100. Whoo doggy! Let's see, PS4 using 1 terabyte. I don't even know how big the size is for my PS4 because I haven't even turned that one on in a while. I'll have to at some point, but it's just like I'm more focused on the Xbox. But it's like you look at these reviews, it's like so crazy. Like right at the bottom, it's saying reviewing the Nintendo Switch version of the game for Nintendo Life. Chris Scullion reported performance issues, including pauses during gameplay, and I have noticed that myself. It looks like what you would see with the Royal Rumble match for 2K18 when you're on a non-overclocked Switch. So it's just like there's some performance issues there too. But I mean, that's just like a bit of a hiccup, but it can be noticeable over time. Visual blurriness in game only reaching 30 frames per second compared to 60 on other platforms. Well, visual blurriness, I haven't even noticed myself. But I mean, 30 frames per second, that was the peak you could get for WWE 2K18 on the exact same console, though. And I tried overclocking everything to the max, and I could not get it past 30 frames per second when I kept trying to tinker around with everything for my review. It's like, I don't know if there are any games on the Switch that can be 60 frames per second. Like, I know some of the Pokemon games kind of struggle a little bit with frame rate, especially the latest Pokemon game, Scarlet and Violet. I've heard there are performance issues a bit with Tears of the Kingdom for Legend of Zelda, which I still haven't even tried yet, and I want to, but I keep getting sidetracked with everything else. So maybe I'll have to try that, but I mean, I'm still trying to get through the Road to Elite mode for AEW Fight Forever, and eventually I'll see how the other games are. But it's just like I got so many games to even go through. But I haven't noticed that many even problems myself with Fight Forever, but I mean, I'm trying not to say too much because I don't want to spoil the review for tomorrow. I don't want to spoil it. Like I said, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, 12-minute episode of the podcast, reviewing AEW Fight Forever, meaning the Switch port. Like Xbox more, controller is better used, compatible. Yeah, I mean, like, I like the Xbox console or controller the most because, like, even with the Nintendo Switch, I've got a controller that's similar with the Legend of Zelda design, and that one's seriously going through some serious drifting problems out of nowhere. But thankfully, that controller is connected to the Hack Switch, which I've got RetroArch installed on. But it becomes a headache trying to play games between the Switch and the Xbox and trying to get used to controllers because the A, B, and X, Y buttons are switched around, so it messes with your head. And plus, it also doesn't help playing WWE 2K23 on the Xbox One or Series S, and then playing the AEW game and trying to remember the controls without getting your brain mixed up. But I mean, I do love the Xbox controller like more than the ones you got for the Switch. But if I had to give even one controller over the Xbox for their controllers, my top controller still has to go to the Nintendo GameCube. I absolutely love that controller so much. Switch controller is a pro, I think. Yeah, that's one I got for my main Switch. And thankfully that one hasn't had any problems. But like I said, I got the one that's like Legend of Zelda, like logos and everything, but that one's going through serious Joy-Con drift. And I also still got to get like Joy-Cons even for my third main Switch, the one that's the right box one with the good battery and everything, because I haven't messed with that one at all since I had to replace the battery on the Switch that I eventually hacked. And then I had to replace the tablet for the second one because I needed a backup Switch. And then I put the controllers over, or Joy-Cons on that one. So now I got a third Switch lying around with no dock and no Joy-Cons or anything with the best battery. So I still got to get on that. So anyway, let me see how long have I been on for? About an hour and a half. Not too bad. Anyway, I think I'm going to cut it here, folks. Almost forgot one other quick announcement. This channel, I think I made a mention it on social media. This channel is now partially partnered with being like YouTube's new partner program system, where you can have some features of like the monetization stuff, but not everything. So it's like I've got the super chat stuff there, and that super thanks or whatever it's called, I think it like is there, if I remember serving right. So that stuff active. I'm not fully partnered with ads just yet, because like I got my AdSense connected there, so that's fixed. But I still have not gotten the AdSense stuff connected there because I haven't met the watch time just yet for all this. So I'm almost there, almost there. Probably compatible with PS3. Well, I mean, just about anything can work with PS3 as long as you know how to handle it. I was jailbreaking mine the other day. Although I can't get past WWE game DLC to work on there just yet. I mean, I would love to, because then I could like finally get some past WWE gameplay videos done for future videos. But some games I got DLC on, some I still don't. It's a headache to try to figure out on a jailbroken PS3. But anyway, like I said, getting close to being fully partnered on this channel. But I got some perks there, some still missing. So anyway, I'm going to cut the stream here. And like I said, tomorrow, guys, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, AEW review, Fight Forever review is going to be in. Hopefully you all enjoy it. And hopefully, like I said, I want to say more about the review, but I don't want to spoil anything. So I'll just leave it at that. If you enjoyed today's stream, folks, leave a like, subscribe, the bell turn on for YouTube, and I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. Have a good day, everybody. Peace.